Welcome to Real Estate Success Partner. We're your hosts, Devin Dubuc,
David Wynn,
and we're here to talk about how to have great success in every market. Hey, today, guys, we've got returning co-host Clint Ritchie from the Ritchie Mortgage Team. And Clint, brother, you've brought somebody spectacular with you today. Who'd you bring along?
Absolutely, man. I'm really excited about this one. So this is Rebecca Durfey, a rock star Keller Williams agent out in the Arizona area, and man, we've been waiting for this one for a long time. So we're glad she finally was able to give us a little bit of her valuable time. So congratulations and welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Welcome to the stage. I see you're repping the Keller Williams colors today too. You
yeah,
got red
you got to do it.
Good stuff. Well, we're excited to have you here, but we always like to do a little bit of fact finding, get to know you a little bit. So we know you're in Arizona. What part of Arizona are you coming in from?
I'm in that Phoenix metro area, more the Northwest Valley, but if you think of Arizona as an upside down ice cream cone, the tip would be Phoenix, and on one side is Scottsdale, the other side is the Peoria Northwest Valley, and I kind of take from the middle up, so Peoria, Scottsdale, North Phoenix, that whole area.
It's awesome. I know, I think we talked about this in the pre-podcast. That's one of my places the wife and I love to go out to. We hit the sanctuary just outside of Scottsdale. It's just
it's beautiful
out there. It is. It really is. And I don't know what it is, but there's a scent when you get out of the car, floral scent that it's intoxicating. I can't get it.
Probably the citrus. Yeah. The citrus flowers.
Is that what it was?
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a great smell.
I literally think about it when I think about Zen and like spa. I think about the sanctuary.
Yeah.
Special place.
Kevin, you're gonna make us all want to go to sleep, bro.
Just go there, and I'm telling you, man, you want to be relaxed. That's the place to go. So
I know a realtor out there if you want to go check it out.
Yeah, I love it. Well, we might have to take you up on that. Always nice to have real estate in other parts of the country. So.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So you're in the Phoenix marketplace and all surrounding areas. Is that where you're from originally? Did you?
No. I've actually lived in California, Utah, Wisconsin. I've been in Arizona for 26 years.
There it is. Yeah. It's funny. You throw out all the West Coast stuff, and then Wisconsin. Like, where does that come from?
My husband's job took us out there. He was with, he's an accountant. He was with Ernst & Young in California, Irvine area, and M&I Bank took him out there, and he worked there for a couple of years, and we really missed the west side. So we
did you love the ice cold weather up north?
That's why we left. I mean, love the people, but not the weather.
Good people. Right. Really great people, and great cheese.
Yes, cheese and beer. That's all I knew about it when we went out there.
Yeah, and little did you know it's freezing, and now you're back home in the western part of the southwestern part of the country.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So you grow up and you said, I want to be a realtor. You've been craving to do this your whole life, right?
No, you know what? My father was, he was a salesman. He ran an office for investments, insurance, that kind of thing. And I worked for him. I was about 19. And he died at 45. So he died very young. But I had that impact early on. He was really heavy, positive, motivational speaker kind of guy.
Yes.
And I just remember him saying to me, I was probably 15. He said, Rebecca, and this is back, in the 80s. He said, how would you feel if you made $5,000 a month? Of course, I'm a teenager, and I'm like, that'd be so awesome. And he said, how would you feel about making $10,000 a month? And I said, Dad, that's crazy talk.
That's insane.
And he said, how about $15,000 a month? And I said, Dad, I can't even imagine. And he said, here's the thing, don't cap yourself.
Yeah.
Don't ever cap yourself. There is no cap.
That's right.
You don't have to make a lot, but don't ever tell yourself that you can't. And I just never forgot that don't cap yourself, no matter what you do, whether it's a paid wage or you're an entrepreneur, don't cap yourself.
Always leave yourself opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, a wise man once said.
Exactly, yep.
Well, you definitely found the industry. How long have you been a realtor?
I've been a realtor for 22 years.
So when you got to Arizona,
and really the way I kind of fell into it, I had been a paralegal in the corporate world years before that, and I had 3 little children, and I have sisters that are realtors, so it kind of just felt like it fit. I wasn't nervous about the contract
Were you 10
part.
when you were a paralegal with 3 kids?
Oh,
I'm really
yeah.
confused here.
Right. So I had these little kids, and my youngest daughter has Down syndrome, and I knew that our life was going to be altered in terms of how am I going to make this work and have some flexibility in my schedule.
Yeah.
And so when she went to, they have full-time preschool. And so when she went to preschool, I got my license and took off from there.
That's it. So 22 years ago, that puts you right around 2002. That's when I got in the industry.
Yeah.
So you've seen some markets. You've seen
I have.
a lot of change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people say to me, "Oh, well, this is worse than 2008,
No.
worse than I'm like, "This is nothing. It is not." When I had to sit across the table from somebody in 2007 and listen to them suffering from cancer and they're going to lose their home.
Yeah.
This is nothing. It's hard. I mean, I don't want to belittle that it's
Right.
hard for buyers and sellers, but this is not the same. The pain, the true anguish people felt at that time,
That's right.
it's not the same.
Yeah, people lost their life savings, people lost their homes. You know, in addition to that, when it came to trying to qualify somebody, the lenders didn't have the ability to qualify because the underwriters were so afraid to write anything. They didn't know what guidelines they could write to. So, you know, never mind rates, which were also at about the same level where they are today at that point in time too, right? Those were in the 6s, 6.5s at that point in time as well. It was a really difficult market. Yeah, I think this one was the perfect storm because we got spoiled with 2.25 interest rates, and then it blew up the cost of housing. And now with the rates going up and the housing going up, it's caused a little bit of the perfect storm. But you know, at the end of the day, this is still a great market to buy a house in, and there's still creative ways to buy a home, right? You know, people can still do it. And we have more equity in homes than we've ever had before. In fact, I read something just today. There's $17.6 trillion in equity inside of real estate today that's available, which is unbelievable.
Right.
That's just an
And that's the best way to financial freedom is to own your home someday. And I just tell people, I bought a home 2 years ago. I bought a home a year ago. I'm having my son buy a home right now. I wouldn't do that if I didn't believe that this is short-lived, that it's going to be super fantastic market. We've been in our own little recession for 2 years.
We have.
Real estate does that. We're going to come out as the world still tries to figure things out. We're going to be just fine. It's been painful, especially for our affiliates, our lenders.
That's right.
This has been really, really hard.
Yeah.
But I think we're on our way out of that.
We're about to rebound. Yeah, there's a lot of great economical data to support that too. That's not just blind faith. You know, we know what's happening inside of the market. As a professional, you have to, right? You know, but inflation numbers are coming down. You know, those are the things we need to see. Unemployment's getting under control, and the feds have definitely spoken. And we know here within a week they're going to make their announcement. We'll see where that leads us, right? But I think that's just the beginning of many cuts that will happen over the next several years. You know, but at the end of the day, what a lot of people don't realize is most of the Fed cuts already been bled into the interest rates. They've already been reduced as a result of what the feds are going to do because the lenders have reacted to the statement. So I think a lot of people are expecting this really big change when the feds speak at the end of next week. But reality is we may see a little bit of an adjustment, but we've already seen it. The rates have already started to drive down. So
you and I know that.
Yes.
But the market is, I'll talk to my buyers and they're like, oh, I don't want to buy till next month because they're going to cut it again. And I'm like, and there's a lot of education we have to do as realtors to teach them, no, Fed fund rate and mortgage rate are not the same thing.
Two separate things.
Yeah, and we've already baked that in. So let's get ahead of that because after September we may have a surge. Let's get ahead of that. And,
that's it. Well, the pie's big, cut a slice. You know, cut a slice and dig in.
Well, we talk about it all the time. You know what surges the market? The media.
Yep.
So the moment the media backs up the feds and said, hey, interest rates are down, the market's good, they need to hear it from the media. Because once the media starts jumping in and telling everybody now's the time to buy, everybody's going to start buying. And that's they don't listen to us even though
we're salespeople. That's what we are. We're salespeople. We don't know anything about the market. We just jumped in for a quick buck. And here we are 22 years later.
Well, and you know the beautiful thing is, I think, is that we do become the economist of choice
Right.
when we know a lot about what's happening.
Absolutely.
So we get our people like Clint, we get our people who know the data,
Yep.
we get our analysts, and we come together, and as agents, if we can explain it in a way that they understand it,
Right.
they're going to come to us for all kinds of things. And I think that's been the important difference
Absolutely.
in the last 2 years. I think that's why our business hasn't suffered as much, because
Yeah.
people who used to go to Aunt Jane and ask her to list their house don't feel quite as confident. They'll
Yeah.
let her do it another time, but this time they're going to have somebody who's
They need
done
an
it
expert.
every time.
Yeah, they need Rebecca, and that's why they're coming to you. And we know they're coming to you. We've seen your numbers, and you're having tremendous success, but that's because you are an expert in the industry. You know how to educate your clients. You've got a great big sphere of people that already know, like, and trust you because they know that you provide great advice in the industry. But let's rewind that a little bit. So 22 years ago, you jumped in and you had all this knowledge and all this great advice, and you knew exactly what you were doing, right?
The advice I'd give an agent, a new agent today, is don't just go get your license and test and get all ready. Be ready for the first deal.
Yeah.
Because my first deal, I had just got my license within about a week. I went in the house, I'm like doing my thing. My husband's outside and he's doing the landscaping, and next door, the mother of our next door neighbor came out and she was doing landscaping, and they were talking, and she said, "Hey, my daughters and my son-in-law are getting a divorce." And she's like, "We're going to have to sell this house." This is back when we had fax machines and, we
I
didn't have
remember.
everything today. Yeah.
I remember.
And he said, "Hey, my wife is a realtor.
Yeah.
I'll go get her." He walked in and he said, "You got to get out there. They want to sell their house. They want to sell it right now." And I was like, "What are you doing? I don't want to go out there. What are you doing?" I was completely shocked. I was totally unprepared.
Yeah.
And he just shoved me out there.
There
And
it is. Go
it
do
was
your thing.
I am telling you, best thing he could have done. It was a super hard transaction. It was, with the divorce, it was, very sensitive. Two people who used to care about each other didn't. There was a child. I couldn't find her. He was who knows where.
Right.
He didn't move out on closing day. These people were going to be my neighbors. All his stuff was in the house. He wasn't going to move it. It was terrible.
It was almost too easy.
Exactly. But what happened was I have never not had a deal since that day.
Yeah.
And, it just was the beginning of something I had my goal was to have 5 deals a year. I was like, this will just be extra for the family, and it will cover some of those trips and the baseball fields and what,
Dog care under control, and
yeah, exactly.
It's a little
It was just
side
like
project. Little did you know.
You don't know, but boy, it was a passion then, and it's still even more a passion now, and I think that makes a difference.
The passion's what it's all about, because you know, at the end of the day, the people that have great success in this industry aren't the ones that jump in for the quick dollar. They're the ones that are passionate about it because they love helping people. And, I have a pretty strong suspicion.
At that American dream.
That's probably a big burning desire for you, is to help people find that ability to become a homeowner, right?
Yeah.
Or if they've already become a homeowner, how do they make the right decisions to build real estate wealth? Because there's so much ability to build wealth in real estate today. And there always has been. There always has been.
Absolutely.
So,
it's never too late.
Never too late. It really isn't. We had somebody tell a story the other day. I think it was an 80-year-old woman or an 80-year-old man who had just bought their very first house, thinking they were never going to be a homeowner, and purchased their first home in their 80s. That's a special kind of awesome.
Yeah,
that's a
I
special
love it.
kind of awesome. So let's talk about this. So 22 years ago, you stumbled through your first deal, and then overnight success. Just immediately, you were just taking
No problem.
big paychecks and closing massive amounts of loans, right?
Yeah, no, and that's another thing that I think people, agents may get nervous about, is you got to reach out and tell everybody what's your sphere, and I remember an agent coming to me and saying, I don't know who to talk to. I don't know how to get started. And so I asked her, what do you do? What do you love? And she said, I love NASCAR. Like, well, that's your sphere. It doesn't matter what you do. If your kids are in soccer, that's your sphere. If you go to church, that's your Go to the people that you care about, that you love, and start there. They will, if you take care of them, they will take care of you.
That's true.
So you just got to figure out who are your connections.
Who are your people?
How do you get started? Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So from what point to what point, how long did it take you to start realizing, man, I'm actually really good at this, and this is really working for me? How long was that? Was it months? Was it years? Was it days? Like, what did that
I think
look
it was
like?
after. Yeah, I don't think I'm not typically someone who questions myself
Yeah.
or my ability if I feel like I really understand something.
Right.
So I don't know that I didn't think I could be good at it, but I think I knew this was something I was going to be good at after that first transaction when it was so hard, because selling a house is not the hardest part.
Right.
It's making sure it closes.
Yes.
That is, a much harder part. So,
Right.
getting it to the closing table. Sometimes people who hate each other, getting them to come together. Sometimes getting, a very difficult transaction to
Right.
get across. I remember it was quite a few in that I had never had anything fail. I'd
Right.
never had anything fall
Well,
out
no,
of
this
escrow.
is pretty easy.
Yeah, my sister said, "Oh, don't worry," because she had done it years before me. She's
Yeah.
like, "You'll have that," and I said, "No, I won't. I am not going to let that happen." Well, obviously that happened. It's out of our control. But so that was, to make those calls is hard. But what I determined was, no matter what, communication.
Yeah.
Do not be afraid to
That's right.
communicate. Over disclose if you have to.
Yeah.
Do what it takes to hit those marks for those people. And I think the worst thing I can tell when a deal's going south, Clint will know this. If your deal's going south, you're not hearing from the lender.
Yeah.
The lender's it's silent.
Well,
and that scares me.
That's typical. That's not how we do
Yeah.
it, but that's how most
Oh,
lenders do.
I
Yeah.
trust you don't do that. But that's what makes us different, because I go the opposite.
That's right.
I call 10 times a day if I have to.
Yes.
That buyer needs some love. That seller needs
That's
some love,
it.
whoever it is. And so when they go silent,
That's a
I
problem.
will call them out
Yep.
and say,
Just tell me
why
what
aren't you calling me?
Yeah.
There is an issue here.
That's right.
You would be calling me if you didn't have a problem.
Well, let me tell you something. What we found is ripping the Band-Aid off is sometimes the best way, because, it might hurt a little bit and people might not like the result that's happening, but you get an opportunity to say, hey, look, this is happening. It is a temporary problem, and hopefully there's a solution. Sometimes there absolutely is, but typically there is. And hey, we think we've got a solution for you, and these are the things that we think are going to be able to work, but we're going to need your help and your cooperation to make sure that we're all working together to make that happen. And guess what? I'm not just going to tell you, I'm going to tell your realtor, and I'm going to tell the listing agent too, because I want everybody to know what's going on so that we don't have any question as to whether or not we're going to hit the marks and get this thing to closing on time, right? And if we're not, we're going to disclose that too, because effectively what you just said is the typical, which is where the lender hides behind the communication because they think, man, if I can fix it first, then I can tell them what I did. Right?
Exactly.
And the problem is now everybody starts questioning the confidence of the person they're working with, and it works exactly the opposite way that it's intended, right? Just rip it off the
Besides that,
Band-Aid.
the contract tells me they have to disclose to me if there's an issue.
That's right.
And so, yeah,
Yep.
I have to agree with you. I think some of that is the way that we as agents tee up that expectation.
Absolutely.
We make sure here, this is this type of contract. It looks a little shaky here. It's a contingency, whatever that is.
Right.
We give them that expectation, but our clients deserve our respect.
They do.
And if we're going to communicate with them in a way that shows we respect them, they're not going to forget that.
Yeah.
It's the fear or the inability to take the bull by the horns. I remember telling somebody one time, hey, listen, nobody wants to be in my shoes when things aren't going well.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be the one who's honest with you. I'm not going to like it. It's not going to be fun for me.
Right.
But I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to skirt it. I'm
important.
going to tell you exactly what's happening.
I love that you said that. We train our team that every transaction has a borrower behind it, and that's what matters first.
Absolutely.
So even if you feel like, somebody else dropped the ball on something, that doesn't matter right now. Right? That's irrelevant. We don't have time to point fingers. We have time to find solutions, right? Now, we can learn from those solutions and go back to it after the loan gets closed and say, hey, guess what? We're not doing that again. That's never going to happen again because of this. But we don't have time to sit back and try to point fingers and figure out, whose fault it was. It doesn't matter. What matters is what happened and how can we fix it and how can we fix it immediately. And so I love that you said that, because that honesty, that integrity, that's what gives people confidence. And people do business with people they know, like, and trust. You got to trust your partners. The name of the podcast is your real estate success partner, because when you're out there building real estate success, you have to have partners. We can't survive without realtors. Realtors can't survive without lenders. Lenders can't survive without appraisers. We've got to have, all of our people, our title people, our inspectors, like our insurance agents. All these people are important, and we've got to know that we can trust the people we're doing business with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would tell you too that as a realtor, I have to, when I hear somebody say to me, well, here's what happened, and it would have been okay, but I always say the same thing. I don't care. I just get it done.
That's
and
it.
if you can't get it done, tell me that right now, or tell me our chance of getting it done.
That's right.
Because I've got somebody on the other side, just like you're talking about. Those are people,
They're
families.
People. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for. We're here to serve people. That's our job. Our job is to serve people, nothing else. That's it. And if we can't get that part right, you got to get out.
Well, and that, honestly, that from the very beginning, that has been runs through my head constantly. If it's ever about the money, I leave.
Yeah.
It can never be about the money. And
That's right.
one of my clients who had a realtor before me, he was my dentist for a while. And he was telling me a story how when he moved to the Valley, he got in the car of his realtor, and he said down at the bottom of the console was a little Post-it note that had each address and the amount of money that he would make from each address. And he said, you know what, Rebecca? I said, I'll never use this guy again, because I can't trust that he wants to find me the right home.
Yeah.
He may want to find me the home that's going to pay him the biggest dollar.
Yeah.
And I was mortified. I was embarrassed for our industry, but couldn't believe that would be the motivating factor. That you would do that. I couldn't believe it.
So we talked about this in the pre-podcast, and full disclosure, I might have told your story a few times since then. It's definitely come up on a few podcasts. It's definitely come up on a few podcasts. So, it's funny because I was trying to search and I was like, who told me that? Well, of course it was Rebecca.
Yes. Well, and it was very impactful for me.
Yeah.
First of all, I would never, that does not matter at all.
That's right.
But the fact that it did, and we have between 45 and 60,000 agents in Maricopa County.
That's right.
We have so many agents, and I think I just got today from Phoenix Journal that I'm their 14th agent.
Boom.
There's a reason that you can be successful in this field, because people start to understand your authenticity. And do you really care? I can care all day long. That's one thing. I do care. I love, my people are my people. But you have to be good at it too.
You do.
And if you can mirror those two together, I think people will respect it and they'll come to you.
Well, I think there's also going to be a shrinkage in this industry. You said there's 45,000 realtors in Maricopa County. Well, I think a stat I saw, and this is nationwide, 67% of the realtors across the country sold 0 transactions last year.
Yeah, exactly.
0. And I've actually talked to a ton of realtors who sold 1 to 3 and said they're not renewing their license because what's that? On average, about $2,000 to renew every year. So our industry is shrinking.
Yeah.
Just as we get out of this economy. In fact, we were in a
and the NAR thing.
Yeah.
They didn't want to try and understand it or figure it out.
Yeah, they're scared to navigate.
I had agents who are 55, 60 years old who are like, I'm not renewing.
No,
I'm not doing that.
But like you said, the people out there are going to need us more than ever now because the economy is changing. We were on a call earlier this week where the CEO of a major lending company came out, and he's on.
Well, he's also on the board of NBA.
NBA,
so, yeah.
And it says, guess
the president of the NBA.
Everybody that's here today, it's official that we finally made it out of the storm. Because once the Feds cut in the next week or so, they're not stopping. Yeah. They don't just cut once. There's a methodical plan to cut all the way through for the next couple of years.
All the way until the end of 2025.
And aren't you seeing an application increase for even just refi? Look at all those people in the last 2 years.
Well, it's just a boom. And again, when the media comes up and all these people that's leaving the industry, it's just going to be more people that you have to serve. These people need help.
They do.
So
well, and I think another thing. It was a necessary evil. We needed to get those people that were fearful of how to navigate because they weren't at the top of their game. They weren't willing.
They're not going to help our people out.
They're not going to help our people at all because they're not willing to get educated, right?
Right.
You got to stay educated. You have to understand your topics. You have to understand, because again, if you're going to serve people, you're going to be able to serve them. You have to know what you're talking about. And at the end of the day,
I have 2 listings of agents that don't want to list their own homes because they don't. One does commercial, one just does it a little bit.
Yeah.
And they do not want to do that in this kind of market.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny we say this because, obviously my dad's been in the industry since 1978, and he was like, this is going to be the great cleansing of our industry because, really for all intents and purposes, we're not really doing business. Realtors aren't doing, and I say we, as I'm speaking as because he's a realtor, obviously, because we're not really doing anything differently. We're just having to do it better. And for all the people that didn't, all the non-professional realtors that didn't go through and explain everything in great detail, he goes, those are the ones that are going to get out because the professionals, they adjust. They may, they fill out the additional forms and they jump through the additional hoops, but for all intents and purposes, they're not doing anything differently than what they've always done. Right. So he said, it's just crazy that, some of these people, like you mentioned, Rebecca, just don't want to renew their license because they don't want to become educated. When the reality of the matter is it's very minor from a variety of things, with the exception of some of the additional forms and stuff like that. And it's things that they should be doing all along to provide the best value and service to their customers. So, and the reality is, we talk about this all the time, guys, is, properties are going to continue to appreciate on average at, 7% annually. So, people that somehow don't want to get into real estate or don't want to buy real estate, or realtors that don't want to sell real estate, I can't fathom it. It's very short-sighted from my perspective. So I think we're all going to come out of this, way ahead of the game.
Well, one thing I'd like to ask Rebecca is this. You've come through storms, 2008 and now. The difference is, I don't know what your numbers were in 2008. I do know what your numbers were the last couple of years, and you weren't hurting at all. So did you learn something from the last time to this time that changed the way you did things? Because what we're seeing, the haves and the have-nots. We have realtors that have 20 years experience that completely dried up, and we have Rebecca who's flourishing in the same market, same way. So I'd like to know, what is it that you learned this time? Or what is it that you...
Here's what I think happens is when things are good, people take their foot off the gas.
That's right.
So when it's easy to get deals and they stop marketing as much, they quit putting focus on getting their name out there and making sure they're making a difference. And I do the opposite. When it's strong, like in 2021, 2020, I put my foot on the gas. I started putting my name everywhere I could think of, even more so. I started farming a little heavier because we're cyclical. We know over time it's only going to be so good for so long.
That's right.
And that marketing is really important. Now, when the market slows down, I still keep going, but they knew I was out there well before that. It stands out a little bit more now because now it's an affordability thing. There's agents who don't want to put their foot on the gas because it costs too much money, or so now I start to distinguish myself from the agents who are used to get their name out there in different ways, open houses, whatever they're doing. They're not doing as much business and their name's not out there. I don't know what it is.
Just planting seeds.
Yeah, planting seeds. But I also think that I have, I don't know how many, maybe 300 5-star reviews. I seek the reviews. I make sure that I've done the right job. And if I haven't, I'm going to make sure I figure out why and make it right.
It's important. Well, we call it octopus arms, because if you're out there in one form or one fashion, you're not always going to find great success all the time. But if you have octopus arms and octopus tentacles, right, and you're in 8 places at one time, right, you're going to have greater success. So you've got your reviews on Google, right, and you're reaching out to your sphere of influence, and maybe you're doing some email and you're doing some phone marketing. Well, and phone is always what we think is the key to any successful organization, right? Is staying in touch with the people that you do business with, right? Staying in touch with your spheres. So, I assume you do a lot of those things, right? What is kind of your technique when it comes down to your outreach?
Here's the thing. I haven't paid for leads. I don't do any of that. Yeah. I try my very best. So I was Gary Keller had a mastermind for some of his top agents. I'm sitting among these agents who I was listening to. I have 60,000 people in my database, and I have this many, and I was like blown away. I was like, I just have like 1,100 people in my database. Double if you put couples, so maybe 2,400 people.
Yeah.
And so I said to my coach, I'm like, I felt like a loser in there, like I don't have all these people. And he said something I thought was so interesting. He said, Rebecca, can you tell me every single person, what they bought, what they're doing in your database? And I said, absolutely. Those are people I care about. Those are my people.
Yeah.
And he said, that's the difference. Your 60,000, your 40,000, those are either bought up or, reaches through title companies, whatever it is. But they can't tell you everything that those people are doing. And I'm really careful. I love on my database. I give birthday messages. I reach out to them randomly. I do that same thing. So many people do the pie. Do you guys do that out there a lot? The pie giveaways at Thanksgiving. That's a thing here. And a lot of people do it. And what I was telling somebody recently was nobody comes. I have it at my home.
Yeah.
Nobody comes to my home.
Right.
Because they want a $10 or $15 pie. That's not why they're coming.
Right.
That gives us an opportunity to meet face to face, and that's what's so important to me is that face to face. So we get a couple hundred people come to our pie day, and I get to catch up with them and learn about them and follow up with them. And so it's really about making sure that those people aren't just a dollar. They're not a number. They're people that I love.
They're your friends. Yeah, they're your real people. Yeah, that's the connections. That's special. I love that. Well, it makes a lot of sense why you're having the success that you have. You're leading with your heart, and the people are following. Well, we would love to keep you here all day, but we know as a successful realtor, you've got places to be, and we appreciate you giving us the time today. Is there anything that we didn't tackle today that you'd love to get out there? Any message you want to get out there?
I think the only thing I'd probably share with you that has been very effective for us is I call it my CANE, client care.
Yeah.
And it's to communicate, advocate, navigate, and educate. Those are the things that people need us to do for them. And we have to make sure that we are doing that across the board. It's not just when they want to buy or sell a home. Yeah. But along the way, because they may not even know that it's time to buy or sell a home unless we're taking care of them, as their advisor, as the person who advocates for them. So that, to me, that's one of our most important propositions that we offer is to offer that CANE client care.
I love it. You're giving them that crutch, right? That cane to keep them going.
That's exactly right.
And the outreach is always there. It's not just about, hey, do you want to buy a house? It's, hey, how are you? How's life, right? How's the family growing,
What can I do for you?
That's it. Yeah. So wise.
I'm old.
Yeah, well, so am I. So, but when the folks out there want to find you, we know you're in that Phoenix marketplace. How do they locate you? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
An easy way is just to remember my name, and it's Rebecca Durfey at kw.com is my email, and then my name, Rebecca Durfey, www.rebeccadurfey. That's my website, and both of those are always accessible, and of course my phone number is everywhere. So,
Rebecca Durfey at rebeccadurfey.com with KW.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super simple, making it way too easy. And if you're watching this, you saw it coming right across the bottom. Make sure you jot that down. And if you're listening in, just check the description. We'll have it all typed out there for you to make it real easy. You just got to click a button, and there she is, like that, right?
There we are.
The best part about working with Rebecca is it's not just a one and done, numbers game. It's you're going to build a realtor and a friend for life. Right, so your friend in the Phoenix real estate market. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, thanks again, Rebecca. Clint, anything you'd like to say to Rebecca?
Yeah, Rebecca. Once again, we just appreciate you hopping on, and man, I love hearing the the care and the attention to detail that you put into each and every client, because that's what makes the industry so great. So much continued success. I appreciate you doing all that, and I appreciate you hopping on.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's great to talk with you all.
Absolutely. Yes. So, Clint, when the folks out there want to find you, we know you do mortgage services, and you're in a few states, Arizona being one of those. How do the folks find you? And I know you can't rattle off every state you cover. How many states are you in?
Like 16 or 17.
Yeah, 16 or so many you can't count. But if you want to know, I'm pretty sure he's got a pretty easy way to figure that out. How do the folks out there find you, Clint?
Yeah. There's a couple ways. So obviously you can Google me, Clint Ritchie. That's Richey, or you can go to theritchiemortgageteam.com, or you can always, call me on my cell phone, 972-679-1028, 972-679-1028, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. And more importantly, like Rebecca said numerous times, even if now's not the right time to buy, I'm going to educate you in regards to what you need to do to put yourself in a position to get into that house and accomplish that American dream sooner than later.
Yeah, that's right. Well, class act. We got a couple of true professionals here in the house today. And, seriously, just it's great to spend time with other people at the top of the game. So,
Thank you.
Great having you here today. Dave, anything you want to say before we wrap this one up?
Yeah, if you're looking for real estate in the Maricopa County or more Phoenix, Scottsdale area, call Rebecca, because it sounds like you can get pie once a year and revisit.
Absolutely.
And you're dealing with one of the top realtors in the Phoenix marketplace too, and you don't get there for any specific reason other than you work really hard to take care of your people.
That's right.
Yeah, good stuff.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, we're your real estate success partners. I'm Devin Dubuc.
I'm David Wynn.
You want to check us out, come on over to realestatesuccesspartner.com. Again, that's realestatesuccesspartner.com. But if you want to see all the magic live and in person, come over to YouTube. You can find us at the Dubuc team. You'll get to meet Rebecca Durfey live and in person, and you're going to want to do that because she's a special kind of awesome. So it's the Dubuc team. You can also check us out at IG, Facebook, TikTok. We're on all your ads at the Dubuc team. Hey, make sure you comment. We'd love to hear what you have to say. We appreciate the likes and we love the subscribes. Until the next time, we'll see you then.
Bye, guys.